American states that are dead forever. Every country has its less safe and prosperous areas, and the United States is no exception. Because it is a vast, dynamic country, some places experience booming prosperity and social progress, while others still grapple with entrenched problems. In today's video, we will show you some such states of America which were considered very prosperous in their peak time but not anymore. It is possible that you also live in one of these states. You may have never heard about what I am about to tell you before. So finally, in today's video we are going to show you top 18 states that are dead forever. But before starting the video, I want to request you, we put our best efforts to create our every single video. So please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's start. Number 18, West Virginia. Located in the Appalachian region, West Virginia has some of the most rugged land in the country. The state's rolling mountains, hills and valleys earned it the nickname of the Mountain State, and it is well known for its range of outdoor activities, including hiking, mountain biking, skiing, and whitewater rafting. Once a busy coal production center, West Virginia's economy took a major hit as the industry declined and profits dwindled, causing its tax base to shrink as unemployment rose and people left to find jobs elsewhere. Pyramid Healthcare also claims that the state suffers from a worsening opioid addiction problem, with 1,253 people dying in WV from opioid overdoses in 2021 alone. As you heard, this state was far ahead in coal production, which is still the case, but it can never be as good as it was before. Number 17, Louisiana. You must have heard the name of our Hurricane Katrina? This is the same storm which caused complete devastation in America. The Big Easy in Louisiana may have shown remarkable resilience after Hurricane Katrina. Still, it continues to struggle with widespread poverty and income inequality. Higher than average incarceration rates burden the state budget with prison costs, while coastal erosion due to climate change threatens its natural wetlands and world-famous coastal communities. Number 16, Michigan. If you are a car lover like me, then you must have heard the name of Detroit. Maybe some of you are residents there. Detroit was once the heart of the American auto industry but continues to fall into decline. Detroit was the wealthiest city in the U.S. in 1950, with the highest per capita GDP in the country. Over the course of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, the UAW union took over, with membership eventually peaking in 1978. Detroit's population has dropped 1.1 million people since 1950, with many residents moving to the metro Detroit suburbs. The state has a high percentage of abandoned buildings and struggles with escalating crime rates while failing to provide adequate education or health care to many of its residents. Signs of recovery and rejuvenation aren't entirely absent, but they are painfully slow and scarce. Number 15, Alaska. Alaska is known for its wide-open spaces, abundant outdoor experiences, and Alaskan native culture. Alaska is also one of the best places in the world in which to view the northern lights. From the mountains to the sea fjords and Alaska's vast interior terrain, the 49th state is a photographer's dream. Alaska's fortunes have always been tied to oil production. As oil prices declined and stricter environmental regulations were implemented, the state budget suffered. This led to cuts in public services like education and healthcare, severely impacting Alaskan residents. The ever-growing threat of climate change also jeopardizes traditional lifestyles and the state's natural beauty. Number 14, Oklahoma. A major producer of natural gas, oil, and agricultural products, Oklahoma relies on an economic base of aviation, energy, telecommunications, and biotechnology. In 2022, about 4.01 million people lived in Oklahoma. This was a slight increase from the previous year, when about 3.99 million people lived in the state. But if its population has increased a little, then you cannot guess it. Several challenges have plagued Oklahoma over the past 20 years, including inequality and poverty. An opioid crisis has ravaged communities, causing preventable deaths, health problems, and high rates of drug and gang-related crime. Like Louisiana, the correctional system is a costly burden on state funds and is increasingly overcrowded and underfunded. Number 13, New Mexico. According to the FCNL, New Mexico is the fourth poorest state in the U.S., and its poverty rates remain stubbornly high, particularly in rural areas. The poor economy and lack of state funds mean a substandard level of education and skill building for young people, while droughts and wildfires threaten the environment and its natural resources. A May 2024 survey revealed that the main worry Mexicans face are crime and insecurity. 57.1% of people surveyed. That does not come as a surprise when the victimization rate was over 22,000 victims per every 100,000 inhabitants in 2022. New Mexico is home to a population of 2.11 million people. Number 12. Illinois. Have you heard the name of Chicago? I think there is hardly any American who has not heard the name of Chicago. Chicago is also a big city in Illinois, and when problems started with this city, the foundation of the entire state got shaken. Chicago's population first began declining in 2015. Illinois suffers from crushing debt due to its recent history of low economic growth and unemployment, leaving little funds for vital public services and rejuvenation projects. The state's underfunded pension system has led to public employee strikes and a sense of social instability. Outmigration is also a common problem, with many young professionals leaving to find more opportunities. Number 11. Kansas. There has been a maximum exodus of residents from the Sunflower State since it implemented new tax policies that were unfavorable to businesses and average citizens. The resulting tax base shrinkage has reduced state funds and impacted state services. A major hurdle remains the diversification of the economy beyond agriculture and low-value exports such as wheat. Number 10. Mississippi. Consistently ranking low in national metrics for education, healthcare, and socioeconomic equality, Mississippi has failed to break free of the cycle of poverty, limited opportunities, and high crime that has plagued it for generations. Racial tensions and inequality remain high, and many African American residents live in marginalized, poorly equipped communities. The report found that Jackson's population experienced a decline of 12.69% in its populace from 167,250 in 2017 to 146,019 in 2022. SmartAsset said changes in population may be due to births, deaths, or migrations. Oh, maybe I forgot to mention, Jackson is also a very big city in Mississippi. Number 9. Alabama. Echoing the challenges in Mississippi, neighboring Alabama also grapples with high poverty rates, a struggling education system, and poor quality healthcare. The U.S. Census reports that only 55.7% of residents are employed, and a mere 28.8% have a higher education degree. There are also complaints about restrictive voting laws and dubious environmental policies. Birmingham is a very famous city in Alabama, which is lagging far behind its old times. The population inside Birmingham city limits has fallen over the past few decades, due in large part to white flight from the city of Birmingham proper to surrounding suburbs. Number 8. Ohio. If you hear the name Ohio right now, what comes to your mind? No need to tell you. If you know Ohio as slang, then you don't know your Ohio very well. The Wright brothers were born in Ohio, marking the state's pivotal role in the history of aviation. The Wright brothers were born in Ohio, marking the state's pivotal role in the history of aviation. Ohio has gained a bad reputation for several reasons. While it is important to note that not all perceptions about Ohio are negative, there are certain factors that have contributed to its less favorable image. Here are the reasons why Ohio has a bad reputation. Only an Ohio meme. The Only in Ohio meme started with a 2016 Tumblr post of a bus announcement that inexplicably stated, "Ohio will be eliminated." The original post gained over 119,000 likes, setting off a trend that humorously exaggerated Ohio's peculiarities. Some areas of Ohio have experienced economic growth in the past 2 decades, yet many remain stagnant. The decline of manufacturing jobs and crippling unemployment have resulted in rising drug use and crime rates and a destructive opioid crisis. Public education funding has also failed to keep pace with inflation, leaving many students ill-equipped for success. Number 7. Kentucky. Coal mining and manufacturing, which have been the pillars of Kentucky's economy for decades, are in decline. Job losses and population decline strain the social safety net. The state battles its opioid crisis while striving to improve its education system. Finding new economic engines to drive growth remains a pressing challenge. Number 6. Wyoming. Wyoming's economy is heavily reliant on the extraction of fossil fuels, so the recent transition to more environmentally friendly alternatives has left it in decline. Public education funding is low, and vast rural areas struggle with limited access to quality schools and hospitals. The problem is unlikely to improve unless lucrative alternative exports can be found. Number 5. North Dakota. According to the USGS, the fracking boom brought a temporary economic surge to North Dakota in 2008. Yet the economic revival was short-lived as renewable energies and declining oil prices have greatly impacted the state budget. Several environmental concerns around fracking, such as water contamination, have also triggered unhappiness and outmigration. Number 4. South Carolina. Certain manufacturing jobs have migrated to South Carolina in recent years, but poverty rates, particularly in rural areas, remain persistently high. Racial tensions are always simmering beneath the surface, and minority communities often suffer from inequality. Additionally, climate change threatens the state's beach tourism industry, requiring expensive coastal protection. Number 3. Arizona. Arizona's most challenging issue is immigration, which remains complex and difficult to manage. Unchecked immigration has strained resources and social services. Climate change is further impacting its hot, dry climate, with prolonged droughts and water shortages becoming more common, further burdening the state's already limited finances. Number 2. Arkansas. Despite attempts at economic development, poverty remains a persistent issue in Arkansas. The state's public education system and healthcare infrastructure are poor compared to the national standard, and social inequality is high. Racial tensions and a widening divide between rich and poor have also made for a volatile, dissatisfied society. Number 1. Indiana. As with other states, the decline of manufacturing jobs has dealt a heavy blow to Indiana's economy, causing high levels of unemployment and the outmigration of young people and families. Like its neighbors, Indiana's public education and healthcare systems are poor, while law enforcement struggles to control the growing opioid addiction crisis and associated criminal activity. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.